Hello and welcome to the walkthrough for the Curiosities mini Divi. I made these cards specifically so they would line up and look like a curiosity cabinet when you lined them and stacked them on each other because I have a couple of curiosity cabinets of my own. I love to collect odds and ends and things that may seem strange to others. So that was a lot of the inspiration for this deck. So I thought I would take you through the cards, and some of them are very straightforward, but some of them I'll kind of let you know what I was thinking when I drew each card. For this one, we have the planchette for Beware of Who You Let In. The reason for this definition was definitely inspired by when I grew up. I was young in the early 90s, and there was this weird, I guess it was like maybe the satanic panic was going on. I never really thought about it that way, but that could be what it was, that parents everywhere were like, don't play with Ouija boards, it's evil, it's so bad. And of course, I've always lived in the Deep South my whole life, so I couldn't help but use this interpretation for the planchette, which, as we know, I think it's what, Milton Bradley that makes the Ouija board, so it's a lot more about intention than it is about the Ouija board itself. Here, it depends on how you look at it, and of course I have like tea leaf reading. The cup, I've always wanted to get one of these cups and saucers, but really the inspiration comes from Coraline. I love the book and the stop motion animated movie as well so much, and when they look at the tea leaves and one sees a hand and the other sees the giraffe, I love that so much. So and then I said it's time for a reset. So a lot of people collect burnable leaves and branches from their gardens to bundle and use to, of course, do like smudgings and stuff like that, or to like cleanse crystals and decks. So I thought that this would be a good definition for that. I can't really grow anything, so I don't really do this. I was given a kit that came with sage, but I didn't ask for it, and I was like, okay, well, now I have that. But anyway, so I sew a lot, so that's why I put you must stay sharp, and I have the scissors, and then of course the threader as well. I collect a lot of like sewing stuff. There's an antique like pin cushion that I really like to buy that looks like a bird, so sewing is definitely my forte. And then it says you may need to see this, or you need to see this a new way. So there are similar cards in other mini Divis that also talk about perspective or seeing things a new way, and so if you get more than one of these together in a reading, it could definitely be a sure sign. But of course I have the glasses that kind of look like the 50s glasses because I definitely like to collect things from other eras. So it says time keeps moving with or without you, and I have the old antique watch here that would go on a chain. It says you can use your gifts to help others. So even though I've always lived in the South, I was adopted, so my biological mother and her entire side is Pennsylvania Dutch, and of course, you know, that would be Germanic people who moved to the Pennsylvania area, so German people, and there's like Brauerei and Hexerei and potion making and things like that. So that's kind of what I had thought about. So it says, are you only hearing what you want to hear? Of course, I used to live by the beach, and so when you put a shell to your ear, you're supposed to hear the ocean, which sounds really nice and really pleasant, but we all know we can't only hear really nice and pleasant things all the time. So I put, it's the end. Well, it's an end. For me personally, I know a lot of ends feel like the end, and I get a lot of anxiety over that, the idea that, oh my gosh, it's the end, but it's an end. It's not the end, and that's something that I often have to remind myself. So this kind of throws back to the teeny tiny tarot deck, where the eyeballs are pentacles, so I wanted to have those there. It says all eyes on you, so this could be something like performance related, whether like work, home, play, something along those lines, or some definition that's completely different and intuitive to you or your spirit guide or angel guide or whoever you use. So a poor reaction to you has more to do with them. That's something that I've really had to teach myself when people react poorly to me, like just being myself, to not internalize that too much. So I have dice made from camel's bone. I think they're antique. That's not something that would be made today. But I also have a magic 8-ball. I just love those so much, and I know that they're not that serious, but they're a lot of fun. So that's really just my inspiration behind this card. And of course, having the magic 8-ball, if I shake it and I get an answer I don't want to hear, I just shake it again. Okay, I don't want to hear that answer either. I would shake it again. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the answer I wanted to hear. Perfect. And of course, this one is also inspired by Coraline. I didn't realize how much this movie inspires me, but I guess I should know because one of my cats is named Bobinski, after Alexander Sergei Bobinski from Coraline, who has the mouse circus, the Mushkas. So I said, beware of unlocking burdens disguised as opportunities. At work, I fall into this sometimes where somebody's like, oh, do this for exposure. And it's like, that is not an opportunity. That is definitely a burden. It's going to be so much work for me with not a lot of a good outcome. So there are only so many matches in the book. So just that idea to step back, take a break, take care of yourself. Beware the gift with strings attached. The moment I thought about that, I was like, what has strings attached? And I was like, oh, like, yes, like an antique horse with wheels. I go to a lot of antique shops, or I love going to a lot of antique shops. There aren't that many around here. There were a lot more in Savannah, but it's still fun when I get the chance. Trying to examine it a little closer. I do collect bugs. I prefer them dead to alive. I prefer them alive when they're outside, and I obviously know that insects are very important, but in my house, I do not want a bunch of bugs that are alive. So I actually do have a praying mantis and a beetle and an ant. So that was just kind of my inspiration there. It says the past is anything but buried, and we have an urn. Someone named Christine pointed out a spelling error in this card, and I said, can I put your name on the urn to thank you for catching that for me, because they caught it when I just had some mock-up cards for my Kickstarter, and then I was like, well, maybe that's an odd request. I was like, you could put like a loved one that's passed away, or a pet that's passed, a beloved pet or something like that that's passed away. You don't have to put yourself. That could be a bit grim, but she said, yeah, put my name on there. That would be great. So I thought it was very fortuitous, and especially because my biological mother, again, I was adopted, so my biological mother, her name is actually Christine. And so when it says the past is anything but buried, it was really kind of honestly perfect. But that was sort of fun. A little behind the scenes there. So it time to gather your fun making tools. I often forget to have fun. I'm the kind of person who could work and work and work and work and never stop. So that was kind of the inspiration there. And we have a little frog skeleton. Don't forget what's on the inside. I have a weird thing with frogs. I have my dad, my adoptive dad, I have his like corduroy frog toy that has like beans in it from when he was little. And then I just really like drawing frogs, so I thought that would be really fun. I have little fingers here. It's not the time for finger wagging. Can be really bad about that, but that's what therapy's for. So it says, don't let it eat you up. I find Venus flytraps really fascinating, but I don't have one because I'm not very good with plants, and I don't have any flies in my house, and I do not want to collect flies for it to eat. So, and then it says a professional pursuit is paying off, and it has the quill and the ink. My husband has a quill tattoo because his MFA is in creative writing. And it says sad songs eventually end. My inspiration for this card is a music box movement because I collect them, and I actually bought one that has paper strips that you can put into them, punch out the song that you want to hear, and then it will play the melody when you crank it. So that was my inspiration. It says embrace the unexpected. I think a duck with two heads is pretty unexpected. I collect taxidermy. I don't have one of these. But I feel like if you happened upon this, it would be quite unexpected. It says be ready for anything. So I have the swords. And I do collect these. I have a jar of them. And it says, are you going to kick that wasp nest? Are you going to do that thing that you shouldn't do that's not in your best interests? Don't do it. It says, follow the red string of fate. This is the only card in any of the mini Divis that has a different color than just like the main color within black and white. So it was kind of hard to do this red string of fate without it being red. So I just really wanted to. And the scissors are inspired because I have a pair of skull scissors. They're by the brand Suck UK, S-U-C-K, and then UK like the country. They're brass and they're pretty. And if you want one, I'm sure they're still available to buy. So hopefully. It says something is hatching. We often find uninhabited birds' nests that have like fallen out of trees and things like that. So we'll pick them up and we collect them on our screened-in porch. And then don't let them take what's yours. I don't collect them because, again, I was adopted, so I was like 9 years old when I was adopted. Didn't so yeah, collecting baby teeth wasn't something like from like my childhood, but I find it really fascinating because I know that some parents collect baby teeth for their children, and then their children as adults like keep their teeth. So I always just thought that was interesting. And then delicious or dangerous. This is inspired just by my walks in the woods with my family. There's a lot of nice state parks where we live, and there's all these like neat mushrooms, like giant, like kind of tan ones, and these ones with red tops. But I'm always wondering if they are dangerous or not. So, and that is it. I hope you all really enjoyed this walkthrough of the Curiosities mini Divi. It was a ton of fun to make, and I hope that it's something that you all enjoy using. Bye.